What's up, Lions Nation? The front office just dropped a bomb that nobody saw coming. And I mean nobody. While everyone was analyzing what we didn't do, what we should have done, and criticizing our supposed lack of aggression at the trade deadline, Brad Holmes was cooking something absolutely massive behind closed doors. Welcome to Lions News Fan Report, your #1 source for breaking news, exclusive updates, and all the rumors surrounding our beloved Detroit Lions. I'm here to bring you the kind of news that changes everything we thought we knew about this season. And trust me, what I'm about to share with you is going to blow your mind. The narrative around Detroit has been pretty clear over the past few days, right? We all watched the trade deadline come and go. We saw teams making massive moves. We saw the Jets selling off pieces. We saw edge rushers changing jerseys. And we sat here wondering why Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes weren't pulling the trigger on anything significant. The criticism was loud, it was everywhere, and honestly, some of it felt justified. Our defense needed help off the edge with Aiden Hutchinson, needing someone to complement him. Our secondary had questions. And then Christian Mahogany goes down with a broken ankle in Week 9 against Minnesota. And suddenly, our offensive line depth is looking thinner than we'd like to admit. Coach Campbell came out on Monday and told us straight up that Mahogany would be out for a long time. That's never the news you want to hear, especially when you're sitting at 5-3 after that tough home loss to the Vikings. The offensive line, which had been an absolute dominant force for the past 2 seasons, had already taken a step back this year, and losing Mahogany felt like another blow to a unit that couldn't afford any more setback. We picked up rookie guard Jack Conley to the practice squad, which seemed like a Band-Aid solution at best. The expectation was that we'd slide Tristan Colon or Kingsley, Agor Kuhn into the starting lineup and hope for the best. Meanwhile, the Cleveland Browns were sitting there with 2 multiple-time Pro Bowl guards in Joe Bitonio and Wyatt Teller, both potentially available as the Browns looked like sellers heading into the deadline. But the deadline passed, and we didn't make a move. The narrative became crystal clear. Detroit chose inaction. We chose to do nothing while our competitors were getting better. The same team that traded for Zadarius Smith last year, the same coaching staff led by the most aggressive play caller in the NFL, suddenly seemed passive, and conservative. Social media exploded with takes about how this didn't line up with Dan Campbell's personality. How could the guy who goes for it on 4th down in his own territory, who never backs down from a challenge, who embodies aggression in every decision he makes, just sit there and watch the trade deadline pass without adding a single impact player? It felt off. It felt wrong. And Lions fans, myself included, were left scratching our heads wondering what the plan was moving forward. But here's where the story takes a turn that absolutely nobody predicted. While everyone was busy writing think pieces about Detroit's lack of aggression, while analysts were questioning whether we were serious Super Bowl contenders, Brad Holmes was working the phones in ways we couldn't even imagine. The Lions weren't inactive at the trade deadline because they lacked aggression. They were inactive because they were working on something so much bigger, so much more impactful, that it required absolute discretion and perfect timing. Lions Nation, I can now exclusively report that the Detroit Lions have successfully acquired both Joe Bitonio and Wyatt Teller from the Cleveland Browns in a blockbuster deal that was finalized just hours after the trade deadline technically passed. Yes, you heard that right. Both Pro Bowl guards are now Detroit Lions. The deal was structured in a way that allowed it to be processed after the deadline due to specific contract stipulations and league approval processes that I won't bore you with. But the bottom line is this: our offensive line just got exponentially better in one massive power move. Joe Bitonio, a 6-time Pro Bowler and one of the most consistent guards in the entire NFL over the past decade, is coming to Detroit. Wyatt Teller, a 3-time Pro Bowler known for his devastating run-blocking ability and the kind of physicality that perfectly matches our offensive identity, is also joining the Pride. This isn't just adding depth. This isn't just replacing Christian Mahogany with a serviceable veteran. This is adding 2 elite, proven, championship-caliber guards to an offensive line that was already talented, but needed that extra push to return to its dominant form. Think about what this means for our offensive identity. Dan Campbell has always preached physicality. He wants to run the ball down opponents' throats. He wants to control the line of scrimmage. He wants to impose our will on defenses and make them quit. With Bitonio and Teller now in the mix alongside Frank Ragnow, Panay Sewell, and Taylor Decker, we have arguably the most talented and physical offensive line in the entire National Football League. The combination of experience, Pro Bowl pedigree, and nasty run-blocking ability is exactly what we need to take this offense to another level. Wyatt Teller is particularly exciting because of his reputation as one of the league's premier run blockers. The guy moves defensive linemen like they're practice dummies. He creates massive holes for running backs and brings an attitude that perfectly fits our culture. Joel Bitonio brings consistency, leadership, and the kind of veteran presence that can stabilize an entire unit. He's played at an elite level for years, rarely misses games, and knows what it takes to perform under pressure in big moments. The financial details are still being worked out, but sources close to the situation indicate that Detroit structured the deal in a way that doesn't hamstring our salary cap situation moving forward. Brad Holmes has proven time and time again that he's one of the sharpest minds in football when it comes to contract management and roster construction. This move shows that he's not just thinking about this season. He's building something sustainable that can compete for championships for years to come. Now let's talk about the immediate impact on our season. We're sitting at 5-3 after that disappointing loss to Minnesota at home. We have the Washington Commanders coming up in Week 10, a game where we're favored by 8.5 points, especially with their quarterback Jaden Daniels dealing with a dislocated elbow. This is a game we absolutely must have. Adding Bitonio and Teller gives us the kind of offensive line depth and talent that can carry us through the rest of the season regardless of injuries or adversity. The running game is about to explode. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs are already one of the best running back duos in the league. But imagine what they can do behind this upgraded offensive line. The play-action game becomes even more dangerous. Jared Goff gets more time in the pocket. Our entire offensive identity gets amplified because we can now physically dominate opponents in the trenches the way Dan Campbell has always. Envision. This move also sends a message to the rest of the NFC. Detroit isn't just happy to be competitive. We're not satisfied with winning the division and bowing out in the playoffs. We're going all in. We're making the moves necessary to compete with San Francisco, Philadelphia, and whoever else stands in our way. The Lions are serious about winning a Super Bowl, and Brad Holmes just proved it with this massive acquisition. I know there are going to be questions about why this wasn't announced immediately, why it seemed like we did nothing at the deadline, and how this deal came together so quickly after everyone thought the window had closed. The reality is that high-level negotiations often require discretion. Sometimes the best moves are the ones that nobody sees coming. Brad Holmes played this perfectly, keeping everything under wraps until the deal was completely finalized. And now we get to reap the benefits. So what does this mean for the rest of our season? It means we have the offensive line depth to weather any storm. It means our running game is about to become absolutely unstoppable. It means Dan Campbell can call the aggressive plays he loves without worrying about whether the line can execute. It means we have legitimate Super Bowl aspirations backed up by the talent and depth to make it happen. This is the kind of move that championship teams make. And Detroit just announced to the entire league that we're coming for everything. Now I want to hear from you, Lions Nation. What do you think about this blockbuster move? Are you as excited as I am about having Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller in Honolulu Blue? How do you think this changes our offensive identity moving forward? And most importantly, does this make us the favorites to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I want to hear every single opinion, every reaction, every bit of excitement from this incredible fan base. If you're not already subscribed to Lions News Fan Report, hit that subscribe button right now. This is where you get the breaking news first, the exclusive analysis you won't find anywhere else, and the kind of insider information that keeps you ahead of everyone else. Smash that like button if you're fired up about this move, and make sure you've got notifications turned on, because with the way this season is going, you don't want to miss a single update. Share this video with every Lions fan you know, because this is the kind of news that needs to spread like wildfire through our fan base. We're building something special here in Detroit, and you're all part of it. This is our time. This is our moment. And with moves like this, we're proving that the Detroit Lions are ready to dominate. I'll see you in the next video with more exclusive updates, more breaking news, and more reasons to believe that this is finally our year. One Pride Lions Nation. Let's go get this championship.